What's up? It's Susie from Hey Grill Hey, and today I'm bringing you my 10 do's and don'ts for cast iron cooking. We're gonna jump right in with our 5 do's. I want you to have an amazing time cooking on cast iron because it's one of my favorite types of cookware. So I'm gonna give you some of my favorite tips and tricks to have great results with cast iron in your own house. My first do is probably one that people have the most hang-ups about when it comes to cast iron cooking. So we're gonna knock it out first. Everything else is gonna seem like a piece of cake, and that is seasoning regularly. You've all seen people, the jokes online, or heard about people talking about seasoning the cast iron and how precious and protected the cast iron seasoning must be. But it's actually not that complicated. The seasoning of a cast iron is essentially having a fat heated in the pan, bonded with the elements of the iron itself that creates a nice, shiny, slick, non-stick surface. We usually season our cast iron pans about once a year as part of our regular maintenance. Simply coat with a thin layer of a high heat cooking oil. We like avocado oil, rapeseed oil is a good one, and there are a couple custom brands of cast iron seasoning that you can purchase. They go into your oven, or we prefer to do this outside on the grill or smoker, 400 degrees for about an hour. Make sure they're flipped upside down. Let them cool completely in the oven before you touch them. Check the seasoning. If you like it, run with that. You can do this up to 3 or 4 times to really build the seasoning and get a nice, shiny, smooth, nearly non-stick surface on your cast iron. Now, if you do that seasoning once a year, you should be set. Now, in between those yearly seasonings, there's just a little bit of regular maintenance. After you clean your skillet, dry it on your stove top. Actually turn up the heat, let all of the moisture evaporate completely, swipe with another thin coat of oil, and you're set for the next time you want to use your skillet. See, it's really not that bad. For number 2, we're gonna piggyback off of the seasoning and talk about cleaning them correctly. Now, it is easy to clean a cast iron skillet. Really, all you need is to brush them with hot water, scrub them really good. We usually use a stiff, bristled brush just like this one. Get all of your stuck on gunk out of there, and then like I said, heat to dry, season, and you're good to go. If you do have stuff that is really stuck on or really grimy, sometimes metal chainmail works to loosen those bits, or you can use a good amount of kosher salt, again with a brush, a little bit more abrasive. It should lift off everything in your skillet. I know everybody's gonna ask about soap as cleaning your cast iron skillet, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit later, so hang tight. The third thing I wanna talk to you about is storing properly. Cast iron is delightfully easy to store, but it is kind of big and it is a little bit heavy. A lot of people will hang their cast iron on racks, or you can store them on shelves. If you are storing on the shelves and you plan on stacking, put some paper towels or even a dishcloth you don't need in between each layer of pan. This will keep things nice and dry, prevent dust from getting into your seasoning, and you'll be good to go. The next 2 do's for cast iron cooking are my favorite. Number 1 is use them on everything. Cast iron is the best because it's incredibly versatile in its use cases. You can use this in the oven, you can use this on your stovetop, you can use this on your grill. You can use these on induction cooktops, gas cooktops, or electric cooktops. It is one of the most versatile pieces of cookware that exists. So beat them up, use them everywhere, and really get your value out of cast iron because it can be a little bit of an investment. And tip number 5 goes right along that. Not only do you use them on everything, I want you to cook everything in your cast iron. They're great for eggs, they're great for baking. Even the things that you have conventionally heard to not use cast iron for, I will use cast iron for. I will cook acidic tomato-based sauces. I will do my baked beans. I will make gravies and whisk. These are really durable. This pan specifically came from Todd's grandma when we were first married. It's still in great shape. You can beat these up, you can be a little bit hard on them, and you can really enjoy the process of learning to cook on cast iron. It distributes heat well, it holds heat well. In my opinion, this is the best pan for the money that you can get if you are somebody that likes to cook a lot. Let's roll through the 5 don'ts of cast iron cooking. There really aren't a lot. Like I said, these are versatile and you can kind of beat them up and they'll live. But there are a few things that can extend the life of your cast iron and make sure it works for you for as long as you live, and you can pass it on to the next generation. First up is don't drop these. As durable as they are, if these are dropped on a hard surface, they can crack. I actually have lost the handle on a cast iron pan of my own because I do use them outside a lot. I dropped it on hard cement and the handle did crack off. I've seen pictures and videos of people with cast iron that have split because they fell from a high surface. They're not totally indestructible. Next up is thermal shock. We do not want to thermal shock our pans. And what thermal shock means is that you go from extremely hot temperatures to extremely cold temperatures, or from really cold temperatures to really high temperatures. So if you have your pan at 400 degrees in your oven, you do not want to immediately drop that hot pan into a sink full of cold water. This can exploit any imperfections in your pan. It can cause it to warp or even crack. So if your pan is really hot or really cold, let it cool down or warm up before you make any changes to its external temperature. The next don't has to do with maintenance. Now, cast iron pans can rust, and if they are wet for any extended period of time, rust can develop. So while you're cooking or cleaning, make sure that there is not liquid or water sitting in your pan for hours and hours and hours upon a time if it's not being cooked with. For example, leaving your pan in the sink with water in it, you can develop rust on the bottom and inside. Storing with any water in it can also develop spots of rust. So moisture is not your friend when it comes to long-term storage of your cast iron pans. Next up, we have two don'ts that are they're soft don'ts, okay? It's not a hard and fast rule. The first one is cooking acidic foods in your cast iron pan, like tomato sauce or beans or a barbecue sauce with a lot of acidity, and you're braising things for a long time. The reason that it's a don't is because your pan can end up looking like this. The acidity will strip the seasoning from your pan. Now, it's a don't if you would like to keep your seasoning, but it's a soft don't, because if you're not afraid of re-seasoning your pan, or you're not willing to keep the seasoning up and maintain them, then I say go ahead, use them for the acidic things, and carry on without worrying about it too much. The last one is probably the most controversial, and that is using soap to clean your cast iron pan. Similar to acidity in your pan, soap is basically a degreaser. It cuts through fat. And what is your seasoning? Fat. So if you are using soap for a quick clean and a quick rinse just to get off some stuck-on stuff, you're probably not going to have an issue. But if you do an extended soap soak, it will break down some of your seasoning and you'll have to re-season. Again, those are soft don'ts because yes, they can cause problems, but they're very easy to remedy. So there you have it, my 10 do's and don'ts of cast iron cooking. I would love to know yours. So if you have a do or a don't in the comment section, let me know what that is. We can all share and help each other make better barbecue in our backyards. See you next time.